Thank you very much, Mr. Suresh Prabhuji. I would like to start with my presentation, which is on how hydropower, although as said that is not a renewable source of energy, we have been using it for decades and centuries. But I'll try to give what is the new dimension, new approach to hydropower, which can try to address the issues of negative impact on the environment. Before starting, I was also asked to speak for a minute about myself. I come from Rajasthan province. I have been with an institute called Asian Institute of Technology for last 20+ years. I started my career, I have been in research and development, research and teaching. So I'm a bit away from the business, but I try to link my presentation today that how the business people can improve on energy access to the poorer of the world. With this, let me start with, I try to put my topic as sustainable hydropower. So we would like to see how sustainability issues can be brought into hydropower and how it can be also distributed source of energy and can provide the source of energy too. So my presentation would include some facts and figures very quickly, then this new approach of looking into sustainability aspect of hydropower, what kind of investment we are talking about, and then what is the final message or reflections from this particular hydropower as a source of energy. Next, please. So as I said again, Prabhuji already said that without energy, nothing is possible. So when we talk about any kind of security, water security, food security, or if we talk about economic development or human well-being, energy really drives all of them. How we have been using energy and what are the projections? And as again in the morning, one of the speakers mentioned that how non-OECD countries are going to have higher growth of energy uses, about 2.5% annual. And per capita use of energy is going to reduce in OECD countries. But interestingly, if we see that in 1990, about 30% of energy use, primary energy use was by 3 countries, which is going to be about 50%, the Bharat, the China and USA. But on the right side of this table, on the bottom of this particular slide, you see that the energy use is or was in 1990, if you compare Bharat and USA, the difference is about 50 to 60 times per capita energy use, which is going to reduce to 10 times even by 2030. Top 10 countries which are having largest population without electricity, out of 10, 4 are in Asia, 6 are in Africa. If we look into the water security, by 2030, almost 3.5 billion people will be without or having scarcity of water. If we look into rural electrification, the area towards northeast in India, just an example, is having only less than 20% of coverage. Hydropower has been a major source of electricity, contributing about 16% at this time, which is going to be about 30%. And this is going to be the most prominent, dominant source of energy by 2030. Why hydropower? most of us and many of us might know this, that let me say that the greenhouse gas emissions are minimum. If you look into its cost effectiveness, again, mini and small hydropower comparing with others is quite cheap. If you look into efficiencies, when we have storage type of dams generating electricity, we have a lot of control and we can reach efficiencies of about 95%. As far as potentials are concerned, again, Asia has got the highest potential in terms of hydropower generation. I'm not going to go in detail of these numbers here, but one thing very clear here is that about 75% of that potential is not tapped yet. 90 and more than 90% of this potential in Africa is untapped. If you look into Bharat only, north and northeast part of Bharat, a large untapped potential is there. Again, although large hydropower projects might take longer to build, to get operated, but once the system is in place, we have a long benefit coming from its 50 plus years. So, having said all these benefits, I would like to add another which Prabhuji again mentioned very, very rightly, that it's not the energy which is coming out of hydropower, is a non-consumptive way by which we can also address the issue of water security, which is going to be a big challenge. At the same time, we can develop, depending on the need, depending on the circumstances, smaller to medium to large to even micro and pico size of schemes, so that we can cover remote areas, poor communities, villages. And on top of it, hydropower provides both mitigation and adaptation options against climate change. But these are with some challenges, hurdles. The solution can come through what I am going to talk about, the sustainable hydropower approach and public-private partnership, and where the role of audience is to play. There are three dimensions of sustainability: social sustainability, economic sustainability, and environmental sustainability. Most of the large hydro projects in the past had these environmental issues in a big way. Even the World Bank stopped funding hydropower projects. They have come back. And why? We will try to find out. Social issues, if we consider, I'll not go into all the details here. Then economic aspect, how do we distribute the benefit? So by doing this, we can increase the energy, accessibility, at the same time try to distribute the benefit which is coming out of hydropower. Environmental issues, displacement of the people with large hydropower projects has been a big issue in the past. But proper siting, proper design, letting them be part of the process of development, we can address many of these issues. How about investment? A rough estimate says that for each kilowatt of installation, we need about $1,000 to $3,000. And in order to provide energy to all who are deprived of energy by 2030, an investment of about $1 trillion is required, which on an average basis about 50 or 48 billion to be exact dollars per year. Now just take an example of 2009. In 2009, about $9 billion were invested in hydropower sector, with only about 2 billion coming from private sector. And there is a huge need of private sector getting into business, getting into it, with an estimate of about 15 billion per year. I would like to give sort of a summary of my presentation, that why hydropower, and I think that sustainable hydropower is the key to meet future demand, because it's a proven technology, because the risks which have been there now can be addressed. We contribute to both hydropower or energy needs as well as water needs, and it contributes to low carbon economy and society. Of course, we have to take challenges, overcome some of the barriers which we have, especially with respect to developing the government roles in enabling environment which try to address the issue of investment, regulatory reforms, and also especially with respect to, there are many international river basins. The political and institutional arrangements and issues have to be addressed, especially, for example, Nepal, India, Bangladesh, for example. To sort of conclude my talk, I would like to say that improving energy and water access and promoting renewable energy for development in the context of climate constrained world makes an entry of investment in sustainable hydropower very, very attractive. Thank you very much.